1, 2, 3, come on.
Come on, come on. Come on, come on.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our series of 10 Days, 10 Ways How to Be Happy. I, Sandeep Bogra, life and relationship coach, speaker, and author, is blessed and super excited to share this journey of inspiring happiness and developing the commitment to take control of our happiness in our own hands. And as we continue on this journey, the way we've started on 11th of March and we grow every night 8 o'clock, we're learning new things, ranging from what is the real meaning of happiness to what happiness means to you exactly in your personal space. And then we moved on yesterday to learn more in different ways how to be happy. And tonight, the day is so special because the topic is so special. It's so close to my heart that we want to share how to increase happiness in your relationships. And I have my host and my host Shilpa Salve with us to take us on this journey of 10 days, 10 ways how to be happy. Welcome, Shilpa.
Hi Sandeep and hello everyone. So today is the topic most close to our heart, maybe the relationships, because
Definitely.
somewhere, yeah. And why so, Sandeep? Can you just throw some light on it? Why is it so important to us?
Well, many people ask me why is and what is most important thing to me in life. Well, I always say it's relationships. Because when your relationships are good, when they are growing, you are happy in your personal space, you tend to perform well in every other aspect of your life. For example, you have a happy, healthy environment back home, you will go with a jolly good mindset every day to your office, to your workspace, to your business, and vice versa. When you're perfectly fine in your workspace, things are going fine, you have developed your mindset to be happy, to be cheerful all the time, you'll be able to give back lots more to your relationships. So, relationships are the essence of everything. And if I talk about relationships in particular, I have seen many people facing a very critical challenge. And the challenge is, while they are fine in their relationships, they're not really sure how to grow it. And for those who are facing certain issues in their personal space, they are unaware about it and they're also clueless how to work things out. So tonight, I invite all my lovely guests out here to turn up with all their suggestions and comments and questions, and we'll be happy to take it live while we simultaneously share how to increase happiness in your relationships.
Yes, Sandeep, and very true. But here, first of all, even I would like to ask you one question. So,
Mhm.
are you going to give us any immediate hack on this, or are you just going to give us many ways to bring happiness into your relationships?
Well,
How is it
Shilpa,
going to be?
Shilpa, that's a very interesting question because the challenge is many times when people turn up for a one-on-one consultation or they attend some course, they believe that the magic is going to happen overnight. They're going to transform their relationships in the blink of an eye. Well, the matter of fact is everything takes time. If you are cooking something for your dinner tonight, you can't do a fast track process. It takes time to simmer everything, it takes time to boil. So are relationships. They don't grow instantly, they don't get spoiled instantly. Everything has its own process. So while many people believe that there are going to be magical ways to increase happiness in your relationship instantly, well, what I'm going to share tonight is going to set the foundation and make the roots strong of every relationship you really aspire to grow in your life. And let me begin with the most important thing which I would love to share, and that is communication. So, like Shilpa, we are doing this process of communicating with our lovely audience every night here. What we are doing, in a sense, is creating and developing that relationship, fostering that bond between us and our virtual audience out here. And when I talk about personal relationships in particular, the most important thing one needs to understand is to communicate your needs to your partner, if you're married, maybe to your spouse, or otherwise, maybe to someone special you have in your life. Because many people believe, and especially, pardon me, Shilpa, for that, many females tend to believe that our partner, our husband, ought to know about it. उन्हें ये पता होना चाहिए. Well, my dear females out there, we are not James Bond, we are not mind readers, and rather, the funny part, as you might have read it somewhere, like men are from Mars and women are from Venus, that's actually true. Because,
Sandeep, here I would no,
yeah,
no, here I would like to correct that sentence. Female think or female want that उनको पता होना चाहिए. Like they should know this up till now because they know each other since many years. Although the marriage is new, but what female thinks it without telling them, they should know it. You know, by the observation or by the thought process or some kind of that they should know it instead of we telling them clearly. That is where yeah the communication gap happens actually.
I know you females love to be examiners and teachers and kind of throwing challenges and exam papers to all the men out there. But let me tell you, and I'm sure you will agree to it, that a woman's heart is deeper than an ocean. While I may dive in and find some pearls from the real ocean out there, Indian or Pacific, you can't really get that deeper inside and really realize and figure out what exactly is on your mind. So, pardon me, but that's what the fact of life is. It's scientifically proven. It's what I've learned from my mentors, and that's what actually is that you really need to communicate your needs. You
Communicate.
need,
Yeah.
yes. And here I would like to bring very another important aspect is why people communicate and still fail to communicate the real meaning, the real essence, the real requirement they are looking for is because they are communicating in their own style. The challenge is communication is what the other person understands and not what you tell. To make it more simple for my audience, अगर मैं कहूं कि मुझे आपसे कोई बात शेयर करनी है, कोई आइडिया अपना कन्वे करना है, now I may do it in words, I may do it in a physical gesture, or I may do it otherwise. But if I do it in words and you accept my communication more or you understand it more in terms of physical gestures, then the challenge is you won't understand what I'm saying, while I will feel at my end that I have conveyed everything clearly. So while we tend to believe that what we've communicated is misunderstood by the other person, well, my dear friends, it's your responsibility to know how to communicate effectively that you are able to relate to the other person and you are able to let the other person be aware of what exactly you're looking for. And it's a dual process, it's a two-way process. ये नहीं है कि the partner communicates to you what their needs are, but you also need to check back again as to what you've understood is exactly what the person is looking for. So communication, as we always say, it's a two-way process, especially in terms of a relationship, isn't it? All right. So another important thing, what
Yeah, very true. I agree with it. And to clear the confusion, if any audience they have,
they are most welcome
I was
to
saying
pop
that
up with
it
their
was very
questions. Yeah.
deep and it was very confusing. Maybe for the audience, if you can clear it in a simple way, that try to communicate in the language the next person understands. It may be the gesture, it may be the body language, the words, or the emotions or the physical gestures.
So, all right, Shilpa, I'll definitely simplify that process because here we are to add value to people's lives. And I welcome Nina Madanji, Anve Salve, Ekta Garwalji, and of course, my father's always there. Thanks to that. So, what I really mean by communicating effectively in personal relationships is, say, for example, you just want to communicate to your partner that you love them, right? A very simple thing. Now, you may say it in words, while your partner may understand it more when you give them a tight hug. Now, when you say it in words and you feel the other person is not responding or not feeling happy about it, the challenge is you didn't really convey it in the way the other person understands. And now, here comes the important thing, which is very important, is to observe. Now, as a partner in your personal space, you need to observe what works and what doesn't. So, there might be things you are communicating in a way which is unique to you but are misunderstood by the other person. And this also brings me to another important thing which we need to communicate to our partner is the good and bad behaviors we observe in them. Many times what happens, people start complaining over a period of time that you don't really hang your towel once you're out of your bath, or maybe you put your dirty laundry here and there, and you start complaining. It many times it happens in case of working couples when both of them are tied up and they are not really able to take much time and attention to uh, clear their household mess, and they believe and uh, require each other to support in every manner possible. So, here what happens is that rather than complaining, it is important to let your partner know what is good for you and what is not. I guess we lost you, Shilpa, but I hope you're back now.
Yeah, I'm back, Sandeep. Sorry for the network issues at my end. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I could hear you, but and yeah, you have brought a very important point because the basic reason for the quarrels between or the uh, in between the couples is basically this only, that ताल यहाँ पे क्यों रखा, ऐसे क्यों नहीं रखा, ये चीज मुझे ऐसे पसंद नहीं, ये चीज मुझे वैसे पसंद नहीं. These are the basic things which cost your happiness in the relationship. So this is a very good point that we should observe, and we should focus that we don't no, it doesn't cost your happiness, these small things which you can simply ignore or you can change.
Absolutely. And I guess we are able to communicate it clearly. हमारी आवाज हमारे दर्शकों तक सही रूप से पहुंच रही है because I'm getting lovely comments and feedback. Umesh Gupta ji says very nicely explained. Keep it up. Rajesh Chopra ji, good evening, and of course, Namaste Himanshu ji. Thank you for being there every night with us. You've been a lovely audience. So Shilpa, while I was emphasizing a lot about communication, and trust me, I can like have a 1 week discussion just about one single point, which is communication. But I would rather take it in a detailed course which I'm coming up with, or maybe one on one, wherein we go deep dive into personal space of a person and help them to channelize their feelings, their ideas, their needs, wants, desires in the most effective way. Well, you just reminded me of one more thing. Females tend to say when you are not really in a good mood and the husband turns up and asks you, is everything fine? And you simply say, yeah, yeah, it's okay,
Yeah.
right?
Certainly,
While the
yeah.
while the matter of fact is, it's not okay that time.
It's certainly not okay at that time. When we say that we are okay, that means we are certainly not okay at that
Not
moment.
okay. And you need a listening ear. You need someone listening to give you that uh, completely focused, dedicated, and all the time and attention you require to vent your heart out when you say it's okay, but the reality behind the scenes is that it's not okay.
It's
Correct
not
me if I'm wrong,
okay.
Shilpa.
It's perfect. It's a perfect observation you have done. You being a relationship coach and the program you have of on the relationships, I know that you know all these small points which a woman, woman had very well. I must say, Sandeep.
Well, trust me, what women believe is that they don't know themselves. So who am I to know them actually?
But at least you have observed these points, and which none of them, like, no, their partners even doesn't understand what does it mean actually.
And that reminds me of one more thing actually, and another important calibration and observation, that when you tend to say you're occupied in your work, आप कुछ काम में व्यस्त हैं, and your husband turns up and asks you, do you need some help, and the instant answer you have is no, 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 I'll do it myself, right? While deep inside your heart, your mind, your soul, you are screaming with the requirement that yes, damn you dumb, come and help me. So what I'm trying to
Why are you
convey here is
asking? Why are you asking? Come and help. If you ask, then it's okay. I can do it myself. But
myself.
if you come and give your hand, then it's you're welcome. So directly come and help.
Right. So while I gave just two out of the million such observations I can carry on with forever, what I'm conveying here, the sense I am trying to bring out for my lovely audience out here is that one, you need to start observing what your partner means when they say something else. And number two, request to all the females, start communicating more, express communicating more clearly what you really want. Because when somebody comes and asks you, is everything okay? And you say it's okay, men will believe it and they'll go away. And you know what happens next? Another round of Mario and all those video games where we have all the fights come out live for real in your personal space. Isn't it?
Yes, agreed. Agreed. Completely agreed. So
So Himanshu,
communicating clearly is important.
absolutely. And Himanshuji says, happiness comes when your work and words are of benefit to others. That's what Gautam Buddha ji has taught us. And very well expressed and mentioned at the right time, Himanshu ji. Indeed, happiness comes when your work and words are of benefit to others. And within a relationship, what's really important is to work your words in such a way that it's beneficial to others. The essence of communication, which I just mentioned about. All right. So this brings me to yet another important thing we need to start developing in our personal relationships is spending quality time. Now, many people believe that they are having a cup of coffee with their partner every evening, or maybe they spend good few minutes on the breakfast table. The challenge is they are just being there. Now, presence doesn't make sense unless you're really present. And what we mean by quality time is that you're fully dedicated, focused, and you are completely out there without bothering about everything else happening in your world of work, your office space, or anything outside your personal connection. So कहना मैं ये चाह रहा हूं कि जब आप अपने पार्टनर के साथ टाइम स्पेंड कर रहे हैं, आप वहां पर संपूर्ण रूप से उपस्थित रहें. आपका ध्यान ना तो आपके फोन पर हो, बिकॉज ये सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज मैंने लाइफ में आजकल देखा है. एवर सिंस वी हैव स्टार्टेड यूजिंग यार मोबाइल फोन्स एंड गैजेट्स, पूरी फैमिली गैदर होती है डिनर टेबल पर, द पार्टनर्स आर देयर, द किड्स आर देयर, द पेरेंट्स आर देयर, बट सभी अपने फोन पर लगे होते हैं. दे आर लाइक सर्फिंग थ्रू फेसबुक और व्हाट्सएप और वट एवर, बट नोबडी इज रियली इंटरेस्टेड कि सामने वाला क्या कहना चाह रहा है. एंड वी शुड स्पेंड सम गुड टाइम डिस्कसिंग थिंग्स. हमारे साथ दिन में क्या हुआ, व्हाट्स आवर प्लान अबाउट anything else happening around. और इसी के साथ मुझे एक और चीज खास ध्यान आती है, which I guess everyone needs to start implementing in their life, is acceptance. Like when we were having our Women's Day special series where I interviewed 8 fabulous females, 8 Wonder Women as I call them, and they were inspiring us with their real life stories. What many a times people ask that how to overcome challenges in life. So always I turn up with one important aspect which is similarly well applicable in relationships: acceptance. हमें एक्सेप्ट करना पड़ेगा सामने के डिफरेंसेस, सामने वाले की कमियां और सामने वाले का डिफरेंट बिहेवियर. बिकॉज जैसे हाथ की पांचों उंगलियां एक समान नहीं हो सकती, सो कैनॉट बी टू पीपल. What we need to understand that your partner is going to behave, believe, act in a different manner than what you do. हो सकता है आप दोनों के टेस्ट डिफरेंट हो. सो व्हेन यू हैंग अराउंड, step out for a dinner in a restaurant, you may find your partner wants to choose something and you want to taste something else. हो सकता है आपके accordingly that match, that combination may not really work well, But you need to accept that your partner has different choices, different ideas, different mindset. Let them enjoy that freedom. Let them be happy in a way that when they are happy, of course, you will be happy in your personal space as well. And trust me, Shilpa, life is testing us in every possible manner. So we have all these technical glitches every now and then. But the good thing is, it relates to the fact that so are our relationships. Our relationships tend to keep challenging us, keep testing us every now and then with different problems, different hurdles. But it's the continuous effort and willingness of both the partners that will increase that happiness, create that magic, that aura and environment where both feel happy being around with each other. I hope you're back, Shilpa. Well, seems some hurdle out there. Anyways, so the next important thing which couples need to start working towards, which you need to start to working towards in your relationship is importance. When I talk about importance, that doesn't mean simply giving importance to your partner. Of course, that is the biggest thing you need to do every now and then. But अक्सर हम लोग एक रिलेशनशिप में क्या भूल जाते हैं is that we stop giving value and importance to ourselves.
Sandeep, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, thank God. I'm back finally.
But my
I'm
voice is echoing,
sorry.
so maybe you need to use a headphone.
Yeah, I'm trying. How
So,
is it now?
perfect. So, I was talking about importance, guys. What what is really important is that you start giving value to yourself, because a relationship, the way I see it, is a relay race. You take the baton, you take the challenge, you run the race, and after a point, you need to pass on that baton to your partner. So they take the plunge and they continue the race. Shilpa, there is still echo. Maybe you need to connect your headphones properly. All right. So relationship is like a relay race, as I always say. Welcome, Harish Mehta ji. Thank you for joining us. Now, the challenge is everyone has their lows and highs in their life. Now, you might be feeling happy on a certain day. You might be super excited to go for a drive with your partner, or maybe hang around for a cup of coffee, or watch a favorite movie blockbuster. But it's possible that your partner had a bad day at office and is not really willing to do anything but just turn silent once he or she is home. Now, in this case, what is really important that you take the baton, as I say, in terms of a relay race, and you take the extra effort not just to only uplift your partner's mood, but to also go in sync with his mindset or her mindset at that point of time. So you can't really force yourself upon your partner and enforce your ideology, your requirements, your needs. You need to give equal importance to the other person. And simultaneously, it's very important to value yourself as well, because that's where most of the times we fail. Isn't it, Shilpa?
Yeah, Sandeep. And there occurs the major problem in the relationship. So, one person giving entirely focus on the other person's needs, forgetting his own needs or forgetting his own importance, can create a bigger problem in future because the other person will never understand what exactly the needs of this person is. And then suddenly, after a few years or a lot of time, suddenly this person who is always sacrificing or not giving importance may come up with all these dramatic sentences that हाँ तुम मेरे लिए कभी कुछ करते नहीं हो तुमने कभी ये नहीं किया वो नहीं किया but because you have never said that, you have never showed your needs, That is a basic requirement. You should show your emotions as well. This is a very bad habit, I
Absolutely.
can say, and I can totally relate to it.
Absolutely. Shilpa, there's some voice problem at your end, so unfortunately, I'll have to mute you. Pardon me for that.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Right. So the next, Himanshu ji has a very valid point to suggest. He says to enjoy happiness in family, try and do one gadget-free dinner once a week. Absolutely, sir. As I was just mentioning, that you need to spend quality time with your partner, with your family, and this is one ideal way where you keep away all your cell phones and iPads and spend time with your near and dear ones. Because there's nothing better a social network which you can first create within your family and then with your surroundings, people in your vicinity, and then you can get back to the social network, the Facebook and the WhatsApp, to connect with the social virtual people around the globe. And this reminds me of another thing what Shilpa was just saying, that many times we falter in communicating our real needs and desires to our partner, and that tends us to be a nagging person in our relationship. So what I mean by being a nagging person is that we tend to complain a lot rather than appreciating more about the good things and the good behavior and habits and contribution of our partner in our life. We tend to over complain. Now what we are really doing is, in that case, we are not just uh, while it's important to communicate what's a challenge from your partner's side, what is not good, what needs to be changed, but then what I really mean about complaining out here is that what happened few months or few years in history, out of nowhere, all of a sudden, if something happens and triggers a memory back, we tend to revise and revisit that instance and bring it in our present, and we start complaining about it. कि तुमने उस समय में, उस जमाने में, उसके सामने उस चीज को ऐसे कहा था और मेरे को ऐसा लगा था. Well, my dear friends, past is over, and overcome your past before it overs your relationship. So while complaining is good in a healthy way, it is important to communicate. What is really desirable is that you stop being a nagging person in your relationship. Himanshuji says it's not audible, the volume is very low. Can anybody else type in the chat box and confirm if they can hear me out properly, if I'm audible? मेरी आवाज आ रही है आप सबको? Please type yes in the chat box so we can continue in case there is a problem. Cool. So a couple of guys out there. Thank you, Kulbir Singh ji, for joining us. Uh, they've confirmed that I'm audible, so I'll be happy to continue. So I was sharing to stop complaining, and while all these things are very important, the most important ingredient which I feel needs to be there in every relationship is respect. Respect, not just for your partner, not just for yourself, but for someone else, which many people feel is not really that important. And that is the extended families, your relatives, your in laws. Because, my dear friends, trust me or not, in India, it is not a marriage between just two people, but it is a bonding, a unification, a connection between two families. एंड मेनी ए टाइम्स द चैलेंजेस, बहुत सारे प्रॉब्लम्स रिलेशनशिप्स में इस कारण से भी होते हैं दैट योर पार्टनर इज नॉट विलिंग टू गिव ड्यू रिकॉग्निशन एंड रिस्पेक्ट टू योर फैमिली, or maybe you are failing in doing the same thing for your person, for your spouse. And what is important to understand, that unless you keep your partner's uh, state of mind happy, which is only going to happen when you are giving them due credit, due recognition for all the good things they do, when you communicate your needs and feelings clearly, when you appreciate their good behaviors, and very important thing, praise in public, complain in private. Stop washing your dirty laundry in public. तो कहना मैं ये चाह रहा हूं कि आपके घर का जो मसला है, जो पर्सनल स्पेस में प्रॉब्लम है, उसे अपने तक रखिए, आपस में डिस्कस कीजिए, सुलझाइए. Stop making it a talk of the town. And what is very important is to stop being right, rather start being happy. There might be a conflict between two partners, but it is not about who wins. It is about let the relationship win over the two people involved in the problem or the fight.
Here I have a echoing.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Shilpa, you
Can you
need to
hear me?
speak louder. Your very voice is very low.
Okay. So now
Yeah,
can I hear can you hear me? Yeah.
much better.
It's so yeah. So here I would like to make a point that instead of playing a game in the opposite, start being to one side and face the problem at your opposite side. That I have read this somewhere that the problem and you are rivals, not you both are the rivals, right?
Absolutely, Shilpa. And as I mute you again, because there are still certain challenges, but let me repeat what you just mentioned is what Shilpa is saying is that in a game, in a match, in a tussle between two partners, you are actually both on the same side. So अक्सर क्या होता है जब कोई प्रॉब्लम होती है, कोई फाइट होती है, and both of you are discussing with somebody else, they might tend to take your side because they're biased towards you, maybe your family member or maybe your friend. While the funny part is actually both of you are on the same side. And that is what you need to start believing when you really want to resolve the conflicts between both of you and to increase that happiness in your relationships. And before I take a leave tonight, if there is something you would love to ask me, I'm there right now. If any audience wants to share and suggestion or maybe question something, we are happy to help you right now as we proceed with it. So if somebody has anything to ask us, feel free to write in the comment box. And while I continue, let me share you one more thing. There's this concept of Valentine's Day. It is, of course, a Western thing, but well celebrated and much sought for event every 14th Feb, Valentine's Day. But India has a specialty. India has its own uniqueness in celebrating Valentine's Day. And what I term as Valentine's Day of real India is Karwa Chauth. And for all the people out there, I have a special video on my YouTube channel, Sandeep Bogra, where I have mentioned what should men ensure they do on Karwa Chauth, rather a day before that, and what women need to take care of. So I really request all of you to go and check out that video because that is yet another real eye opener for many men and women out there who will realize that such simple things, if they start implementing in their relationships, it is bound to increase their happiness in manifold times. Yeah, Shilpa, we can hear you.
Yeah. Now can you hear me properly?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So what is that in a nutshell you would like to say to increase the happiness in the relationships? If you want to summarize today's session, what would that be?
Mhm. Well, as I said, Shilpa, in the start, I can go on and on and on forever on just one simple point, which is communication, while there are so many other things which I just highlighted. And in fact, my book is coming up soon, which is going to be yet another self help for relationships, which is going to help people, not just those who want to grow happiness in their relationships, but it will also be a real eye opener for those who are struggling with it and need to figure out if it's the right space they want to be in or they maybe they want to move out of it. So if I have to summarize tonight, or maybe leave everyone out here with just one key takeaway, that is communication. Start communicating your needs, your desires, your feelings, and start communicating with yourself too, as to if you are in the right space, in the right relation. Are you being valued? Are you being respected? Is this a relationship of equals? Does it make sense to both of you? Or is it like two parallel sides of the railway track which are never going to meet each other? Is all I have to say for tonight.
Yeah, that's great. And then my takeaway from today's session would be focus more on the happiness instead of proving right or wrong, or making it go or work or not work, whatever it is. Keep that aside and just grow happiness in between your relationships with all the tips Sandeep has given us till now.
Thank you, Shilpa, and thank you, everyone. Thank you, Kiran Khosla ji. Thank you, Asha ji. She says, Sandeep and Shilpa, you both are amazing. Well, that really gives us a lot of happiness and a lot of excitement to come back to you guys tomorrow night with yet another special event wherein we will talk about how health and happiness affects each other and how you can improvise your health to multiply your happiness. So with this, I and Shilpa, we take your leave tonight. Till then, take care, good night, good Shubh Ratri, Shabba Khair, and do take very good care of yourself.
1, 2,